Hello you beautiful enjoyed people and welcome back to another video. I am back at it again, and yeah, as you can see, I finally managed to rediscover my island. I kind of lost it or accidentally deleted it a while back, but I managed to discover it in a random backup file that I had. So yeah, I recovered it kind of because some of the files were corrupted and I had to manually re-folderize it or whatever you want to call it. And in the process of actually bringing today's rates and contraption into the world, I've accidentally managed to combine chunks. I don't know how, but yeah, let me just. Is it here? Yeah, as you can see here, I accidentally managed to bring a chunk from my redstone world into this world. And yeah, as you can see, it's 1, 2, 3, and then we it's bedrock, so it's literally the entire chunk or at least a part of some chunks that were copied into here. If you're wondering how I did this, I thought I have discovered what was the save file for the structure block, but apparently that file contains some other data as well. But yeah, oh, and we have floating rails, nice. But that's enough of that. Let's get started with today's video. Okay, so today's video is something pretty cool. I'm really proud of it. And that is the Architect door, as you can see here in front of me. It opens up, and yeah, it pretty much just closes back down. Now, if for those of you who for some reason don't know Architect or what that is, basically it's this group on the Hermitcraft server that consists of a couple of YouTubers, aka Mumbo Jumbo, Iskall85, and Grian. And they have this group and they call themselves the Architect, and this is kind of their logo. There is a couple of variations on it, but I decided to come up with this design on my own with the just classic triangle with a sea lantern in the middle to create kind of an A. And yeah, I decided to make a door out of it because why on earth not? Now, this actually was a bit of a pain to make, as you can imagine. And in the end, I had to actually use slime blocks, which I tried to avoid, but there was no other way for me to actually do it. And I also spent probably another hour trying to make this flush, but I couldn't really pull that off since if we close up you can see this is already moving blocks. And so I tried to somehow place a double piston extender in here, but I just couldn't get it to work the way that I wanted it because this thing is really time sensitive, as you can see. Yeah, so that wouldn't. I guess it might be possible, but I have no idea how to do it because, like I said, I tried and I tried and I tried, but I just couldn't figure it out. And unfortunately, we also have the slime there, but luckily it doesn't really look that bad. Yeah, and here's a pro tip that I randomly discovered when watching Mumbo Jumbo the other day. Or not sea lanterns, but choker boxes actually they don't stick they can't be moved even on Bedrock. I don't know why I never thought of using them because I mean they do look considerably better than using glazed terracotta. I mean just look at how ugly the two are when compared to one another. That looks a lot more like the actual concrete. Now, how does this thing work? Okay, so let's start at the top. This thing, or at the back rather, this back part or backdrop is probably the easiest part because all that it is, we have hijacked our double piston extender with the slime blocks and just kind of connected a couple blocks around here. So as you can see, we have these 5. They are actually part of the double piston extender that's responsible for the sea lantern and that top block on the A. And then I just kind of connected them up here, and so that's basically the difficult blocks out of the way because this block and this block is what would have been the most difficult. And then I just have a couple of more pistons here dotted around the place to make it completely flush. And yeah, that was the easy bit, like I said. Making the A is actually a bit more difficult than you would have expected. So, as you can see, we have that block that needs to be moved in order to get our double pulser, but the double pulser only needs to work when we open the door, not when we close it. So I had to create some sort of falling edge stable circuit. I don't really know what to call it. And then we also needed to actually spit out those stair blocks. So we actually have a triple piston extender hidden in here. Now the way I managed to get this to work is this is basically a double piston extender with a third piston at the back that pushes the double piston extender forward. So it's not really a full-fledged triple piston extender. Well, I guess it is kind of, but okay, maybe demonstrating it would be a bit more easy. So we have this kind of setup where we have two separate double piston extenders. So this front one is responsible for retrieving the stair on closing sequence, and this back part is responsible for spitting out our block to get it into position, because that's the only way that you can spit out blocks in Bedrock, because obviously we don't have the one tick pulse thing that can spit out blocks. So you kind of need a double piston extender for the double piston extender to make the double piston extender work the way that you want your double piston extender to work. So yeah, this concept took me a while to come up with, but I managed to cram it in here just about right. Or I don't really know why I said that. But yeah, I managed to cram that circuit in here. As you can see, when we power on, we run a wire into this piston, which sends a pulse into the back double piston extender, and then that also does a bunch of other things. Like this is the second part for the double piston extender, but that's also responsible for powering this part, which is responsible for filling in these two stairs as well as the back, and turning off these two redstone torches, because this redstone torch and this redstone torch is responsible for the opening up sequence. And as you can see, as soon as this gets turned off, this piston extends. Let me quickly open it up, and you can see this piston extends, which causes this piston to extend, which sends a pulse into this circuit over here, which is just basically a glorified pulse extender for this thing to close it, to turn off this piston, to retract this block out of the way so that we have room for that observer to come through, because that observer is part of the double piston extender, the second double piston extender, and that's this circuit over here. And that's the part for, as you can see, when we open it up again, it gets pulled down, the observer gets pulled in, and yeah, that's that. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say. Oh yeah, this is just a pretty standard slime double piston extender. For those of you who don't know how it works, basically you just have your pistons like that. You can make extremely big extenders like this, like even a triple piston extender, because those blocks will actually get pulled along, and just like that, you have a extremely basic triple piston extender that requires no additional things. Yeah, it's a lot simpler. It's probably a bit cheaty, but I needed to use slime blocks in any ways to make this thing work. So I thought I might as well create a slime double piston extender instead. The only downside is, like I said, I need immovable objects to keep everything in place. I'm not actually sure why this needs to be an immovable object. Oh yeah, because otherwise this piston will actually pull down that. And yeah, that's just about it. I don't know if I should do a tutorial on it. I might. If you guys want to, just let me know in the comments if I should do a tutorial on this, because I know there are some Hermitcraft fans out there who might want to build this in their bases, but I'm not really sure, so feel free to let me know. And yeah, they also fixed the cape problem, so we actually have capes in Bedrock, finally. Yeah, it's amazing. The only thing is there's kind of a weird bug with it. I don't know if you noticed, but if you sprint, it goes up like that, and when you fly down, it also goes up. But when you sprint and you go down at the same time, they kind of stack and you end up with a weird animation. So I have a feeling that might be a bug. I'll do some research into that. But that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and yeah, feel free to leave a like and subscribe if you're new around here. But thanks for watching, guys, and I will see all of you again in the future with a brand new video. Bye!